It is a beautiful day here in the Ohio Valley, and I'm really excited about our guest this evening. And I know that you're going to enjoy this evening's interview. Now, fully disclaim, I need to do a disclaimer here. Dr. Cummings was not available to come on live this evening. He teaches a class at 7:30. But we got together Monday evening and did an interview, and I think that you are going to be blessed as much as I was blessed just spending some time with Dr. Cummings. He is truly a man of God and has a heart for sharing with people, and I think you're truly going to enjoy it. So without further ado, I am going to give you Dr. Daryl Cummings and the interview from Monday. Good evening. I'm Laurie Labishak with Bright Spots, and this evening's guest is Reverend Dr. Daryl Cummings. Daryl, welcome to Bright Spots.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so very much.
It is so good to see you again. Of course, I know Dr. Cummings from the years that I worked in Wheeling and did some programs with OVMC and East Ohio Regional Hospital over in the Wheeling area, helping with some of the programs. So, Dr. Cummings, a lot of people have said that the pandemic has changed them in some way. How do you believe the pandemic has changed you or perhaps your parishioners? What do you think has changed because of the pandemic?
Well, yeah, what a powerful question. And first, I just want to say good to see you. And you are an angel to us when you work down here. And I'm sure you're being an angel up there. God bless you. The pandemic has definitely changed not just our local body, but it's changed the world. It is said when you speak of the church world that millennials were the least attending of traditional services at a church. It's also said of millennials that they were the most in tune to the internet and the social media. And because of the pandemic, the church has now invaded the internet. Our church was blessed to be on the internet several years ago, and we've been on for several years. We have upgraded and tried to do more in reaching out, but we are now reaching more young people, and we're reaching people in other parts of the state, in other parts of the nation, in other parts of the world. We're getting calls from Guyana and from South America and from Nigeria and from India and all the other places that say that they're watching our services too. So it has changed us, it's changed our people. I believe that a number of people are now watching the services locally. We have opened the doors, but for some who perhaps have some physical or health concerns, they've chosen to remain virtual, and we have no problem with that. We're providing for that. We're trying to do it not only through the internet, but for some senior citizens who are not on the internet, we have call in. And but I'm hoping that even though that they say we should be social distancing, I'm not sure that's the right word. I think that we should be physically distancing. Absolutely. We should be wearing our masks. Absolutely. But I'm hoping that being physical distancing will not make us social distance. I'm hoping that we can come back together and get closer and check on one another and pray for one another and encourage one another and reach out to one another even more than ever before.
Wow, I've never heard it actually said that way, that you want to physically distance instead of socially distance. I did have a gentleman ask me a couple of weeks ago, do you think this is going to change the way we relate to one another? Because I'm a hugger. You immediately reach out a hand to shake someone new, someone, that you're meeting for the first time. And now we hesitate and you do the elbow bump, or you find another way to greet people. And for me, I know wearing the mask, I smile at everyone, and that's often my greeting. And when people can't see that, I often say I'm smiling at you, in the grocery store, because I want you to know that I truly am. I want you to know that I care about you, and I agree with you. I think physical distancing is a better way to think about that instead of socially distancing. How beautiful is that? Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for that.
No problem. We need each other now probably more than ever before. So.
Amen. So you talked a little bit off camera with me about how you had to transition some of the programs that you do for the community. And for folks that are watching, tell us about some of the traditional things that you do each year and how you've had to transition those during the pandemic.
Yes, ma'am. This has definitely been a change. I hope I don't look it, but this is my 40th year as a pastor, and I've been pastoring now for 40 years. My first 10 years were in a city called Ashtabula, Ohio, where I founded and started a church there that, praise God, is still going strong there in that wonderful town. And then 30 years ago, 1990, June 15th to be exact, we came to Bethlehem Temple. And we've been pastoring now here since that day, glory to God. And when we came, we started with having our Adopt a Student program, where we first started just helping kids in our local church and in our local neighborhood, and others heard about it and needed help, and we expanded it. And now we've been doing that this will be our 30th time doing it. We also went from there. One of the differences, we have so many wonderful programs out there in the Ohio Valley. The Ohio Valley is such a wonderful place. But one of our differences is that we not only give you school supplies at the beginning of school year, but we'll give you school supplies all year long. And as far as I know, no one else does that. But nonetheless, we have our second one, our Thanksgiving giveaway, where we give away free turkeys, more school supplies, clothes, and food. And then we do Christmas. We do the same thing. And then Easter. And those are our four major giveaways. We average in between 500 and 600 people that we help. We have helped as many as 1,200 on one day, but the average is about 500 or 600. And so we're happy to do that with the help of our community and our sponsors. And if we had time, I'll tell you how it was born and what it came from, and my story. But if not, we're very glad to do what we can. And we're hopefully doing what we believe Jesus would do if he was in that situation.
So I think we will have time to hear your story. So talking about the numbers, have you seen the numbers change during this period of time, during the pandemic? Has there been a big need?
The numbers have definitely changed. They're gone up. People that we haven't seen before, we're now helping. People are, explaining their reasons. We've never been at a food pantry before. We've never needed this before. And we've tried to explain to them that they don't have to offer an excuse of why they're in need. We're a community. Unity in the community is for us all to work together to help one another. We never know when we might be in need. So if we can help each other to make it, I think that's what a community is all about. And we've been doing everything we can to help even the numbers that have gone up. We're working a little bit harder than what we may have planned on working. I may have strained the budget a little bit more than what we planned on. But it is our confident belief that at the end, we will come out of it all right.
So, what are some new programs that you've started in the community? I know that you recently or during the past few years acquired the building across the street from the church, where you started doing some educational sessions. Is that correct? Can you tell
That
us a
is.
little bit about that?
Sure. Well, we've done some new things that we haven't done before. And I think one of the first times you helped us and was a part of I think our Christmas program, memory serves me correct. We were still in the church basement. I don't know if you remember how crowded it got in the church basement, one way in, one way out. So those were challenging times. There were, you do remember that? Yes, there's
I do
some
remember.
cloudy times. Yes, yes, yes. And so we have people trying to get down the steps, or people trying to get up the steps. God bless, the line would go down several blocks of people trying to get in. But God bless, approximately 3 years ago or more, we were able to purchase the Dream Center. And in the Dream Center, we were able to house homeless veterans in the several apartments that we had there. We did have some educational classes that went on. We have 35 offices there, and we were blessed to be able to be an incubator for some businesses. We had a gymnasium in the basement, and there were some exercise programs and gym programs that were going on there. Sadly, all those things have come to an end. About 3 or 4 months ago, one of our sprinklers broke on the fourth floor. The building has 4 floors, 35,000 square feet, and that sprinkler flooded the entire building. And when it flooded the building, it destroyed us being able to use it. So right now, there are no programs going on in the Dream Center. And everything that we're doing for the pandemic and our giveaways are all outside and all at a drive-through basis. But it is our hope that one day we can get back in. When the pandemic started, the church income dropped dramatically, and we were trying to pay our insurance, and we called our insurance company and told them that, we're not having services, people are not coming right now, and could we pay our insurance weekly until it was paid for? And they agreed, and as I understand it, we weren't the only one. And while we were paying weekly, this incident happened. And then they told us that because the insurance wasn't fully paid, they weren't sure they were going to cover it anymore. And we were able, blessed, to raise some money where we did fully pay it, but it was after the fact. And they are telling us that they have not told us yet, as of this day, that they are going to fully cover it, but they have told us now that they are looking at it and that they're going to do something, but they don't know what level they're going to do it at. So we're on pins and needles, and we're praying to God that they fully cover it and that everything works out. But right now, we're at a standstill with the Dream Center. But you asked other new programs that we did. We did a program for COVID-19 testing. We did that in the Dream Center with the help of the Health Department of Ohio County and the State Department and the Governor's Office. And we were blessed to be able to help 300 people, close to that, on that day. I think they had other sites as well. And we also had a summer food giveaway, which we've never done, in the month of June. before. And then our Easter giveaway was normally in Easter, March or April, but this year, because of the pandemic, it was in May. It became a Mother's Day giveaway. But so those are some of the new things that we're doing. We're trying to call out to our senior citizens, check on them on a regular basis. So we are doing some new things that hopefully we're reaching out in new ways. And we're doing some of the same things that we've been doing before for the last 30 years. And hopefully together we're making a difference, and we're reaching out virtually in new social medias, although we've been doing our old ones as well.
Yeah, so the pandemic made a lot of folks get in touch with technology, and you have quite honestly said that you're not terribly technologically savvy, but you have a beautiful wife who sounds like she is very tech savvy.
Yeah,
So we're thankful for those spouses, aren't we, who can really
yeah,
help us with things that we don't know.
yes,
So church services have kind of exploded out there on the World Wide Web. And you shared a little bit with me prior to going live about the ways that you are reaching out. So share a little bit about how that has happened and how you have begun now using multiple ways to broadcast the service and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to hear the word.
sure. We had been doing our web page, which is Greater Love internationalwv.org. That is our web page for both churches together. I pastor Shiloh in Weirton, 3000 Weir Avenue in Weirton, and Bethlehem Temple in Wheeling, and they have a joint web page as well as separate web pages, but the joint web page is called Greater Love International. And when we do things together with both churches, we do it through Greater Love. And so we still have that. And then we have the church app, which you can go to your app store, your local app store, on your phone or on your tablet, and look up Greater Love International and get your free app. And it'll tell you all the events going on in a church. Plus, when services are going on, you can tap it and look in live to the service. We had already been doing that. We all with our webpage, Bethlehem Apostolic Temple.org. You could already see our services live. And then you could go to our YouTube page, D.W. Cummings Ministries, and you could see prior services back several years if you want to, but also most recent service. We didn't always do it until the pandemic, but we started putting Bible class on the web, and we started putting Sunday school or Christian education classes on the web before we just did morning worship. So now our crew, our team is working 3 times as harder than what they did before. But now we also go to Daryl Cummings' Facebook. We do Facebook Live. We go to Bethlehem Temple Facebook, and we go to Shiloh Apostolic Faith Assembly Facebook. We also go on D.W. Cummings Ministry Twitter, and we also go on I keep wanting to say perspective, but it's not perspective. It's oh Lord, it'll come back to me.
Periscope.
Periscope. Thank you so much. Periscope. And so we do that, and we also still do the YouTube. There's a live YouTube and an event YouTube, and so we're doing a number of ways. And then for those who are not text savvy, we have a number for our conference call, and somebody can listen to the services live on the telephone. So whether it's the internet or whether it's a conference call, you can hear us. And then we also come on the radio on WWVA 1170 AM every Sunday morning at 9:30 AM to 10 AM. And you'll hear a portion of our service, or at 6 p.m. on the same station to 7 p.m. you can hear the entire service. And Even if you are out of the area, you can still listen to it on the radio by going to 1170iheart.com and at those times hear the radio station live. So we're doing everything we can to reach out to as many as we can. And we just finished having a meeting before I met with you with the leaders, and it was announced that starting this coming Sunday, a person can drive their car into the parking lot, and if they don't want to come in, they can sit in the parking lot and hear our services over FM radio in their car. So we're trying to do everything we can to get it out as many ways as we can.
Wow, that's really amazing.
Pray for my tech team. They're working extra hard.
Yeah. So, Pastor Cummings, as we start to, we thought we were going to reopen. Things started reopening, and we saw another surge in cases. So things kind of quieted down a little bit. And of course, now Ohio and I believe West Virginia have mandatory masking in place. So whenever you're out in the public, you're supposed to be wearing a mask if you can't physically distance from each other. So what do you think is going to be our biggest challenge as we try to accept this new normal that seems to be evolving?
It is a challenge, and we are concerned that some feel that their freedom is being taken away from them to ask them to wear masks, and I can definitely understand that. But I would just encourage us to be concerned about our brother and our sister. You may be totally all right, and we pray you are. But you may be also asymptomatic and may not have any of the signs and still have the virus. And so the Bible says, prefer your weaker brother, and to prefer your brother, and especially look out for your weaker brother. So just in case somebody else has some health concerns, and we're erring on the side of caution. We want to do what we can to help as many as we can, and we don't know what our situation is. We could be tested today and have it this afternoon. I pray not, but we want to just make sure that we do everything that we can, that it's not because of our I'm not sure if that's pride or whatever it may be, whatever our reasons are, that we don't put somebody else in danger. And so we do try to follow those social distancing guidelines and masks, especially when we can't be far enough away. And then we need to look out for each other. And that's what I believe, and I'm sure I may be controversial in saying this, but I believe that Jesus, if he was here in earthly form and during this time, I think that he would do what he could as well. I know he could heal anybody at any time for anything, but I don't think he would intentionally put anybody in danger. If I read my Bible right, he even paid taxes. So even if he got it out of a fish's mouth, he tried to follow and work with them, the things that he thought was right, and he spoke out on things that he thought was wrong, and didn't make him popular, but it was right. And so I'm doing what I try to ask myself. When I was a kid, I asked myself, what would Superman do? What would Batman do? And then I tried to do the same thing, and that ended up one day I jumped off a garage with a towel on my back. It did not help me. But now I'm asking myself, what would Jesus do? And I'm trying to answer that question. When I was a young adult, they had a song, "To Be Like Mike," and they were referring to Michael Jordan. But now I'm trying to be like Jesus. So well, I'm doing my best. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but I'm definitely trying.
So let's get back to your story, because
Right.
I don't believe that I have heard your story, and I think I'm really looking forward to it. So how did you get started in the ministry, and why is it such a passion of yours to serve others?
All right. All right. Well, that's a two-part question, but I'll do my best to cover them both. As far as the ministry is concerned, um, I'm not sure that my story is that unique. I am blessed to have a rich heritage. It's not the reason that I'm a pastor, but I'm sure it had a role to play. My father was a pastor. He pastored in Cleveland, Ohio for 48 years. And then his father was a pastor. He pastored in Detroit, Michigan for 50 years. And then my grandfather's father was a pastor down in Mississippi, and he was even a pastor during the slave camp days. So I am the fourth generation of pastors with the name Cummings in this family. My kids say that the curse is broken and it will not happen again. But both my two oldest children are ministers in their local areas. So who knows what might happen in the future? Because I definitely told God I would never pastor. I said, at first I said I would never preach, never minister. And then after I did get called to the ministry, I said, I'm a minister, but I'm never going to pastor. And as I said, I'm celebrating my 40th year. I think God thinks it's funny when you tell him what you're not going to do. So, but nonetheless, I have been doing it and doing my best at it. I'm not sure I'm the best at it, but as I said earlier, I do try. When it comes to my passion for trying to help people, that births from me going to a school. As I said, my father was a pastor, and we moved from what others called the ghetto. I didn't know it was a ghetto. I just thought it was a neighborhood, and prayed with my friends. And when my dad was blessed, we moved from that neighborhood, which may have been a lower standard, to the suburbs, Cleveland Heights, Ohio at the time. And when I went to school the summer that we moved, my mother, being a genius, I believe she's a genius. She died when I was 16, but she went and bought new clothes for me for school, and it was going to be my first time going to that school. Did find out later that it was a 99.9% Caucasian school. It's 3,000 in the school, less than 100 African Americans and minorities in the school. And so I was definitely going to be someone that was seen. And so I wanted to look good. And the challenge was that after my mother bought me all these clothes, that happened to be the summer that I grew by 6 inches. And when I grew by 6 inches, all the pants that felt that looked good in June were 6 inches short in September. And so when I went to, I begged my mother, please don't make me go to this new school with all these 6 inches high pants. And my mother, who I say is the genius, said, Daryl, we do not have the money to go buy any new clothes for you. But what we will do is we'll go buy you some cowboy boots and you can put your pants down in your cowboy boots and nobody will know. Well, that was the plan. But if you've ever been in that situation, when you sit down, your pants rise like Lazarus from the dead. Everybody sees, all right, those pants are way too short. So every day of school, I heard the rain is over, the ground is dry. Why do you wear your pants so high? And although I was the new kid in school, Nobody knew my name, Daryl. Everybody called me Noah. Even the teachers called me Noah. And it was because of what we called back then floods, because I had floods on. I was very well known in the school as Noah. And I'm not always thrilled about telling that story. But if I do tell the story, I always like to tell the end, and I hope you let me. And that is that at the end of the school year, I decided to run for student council president. And I got called into the principal's office and said, don't you realize there's less than 100 African Americans, minorities in this school, 3,000 in the school. There's no way you can win as a student council president. And I said, all I'm doing is asking for the right to run. That's all I want to do is run. If I lose, I lose. And the principal was not happy about it, but he did allow it. And we put signs up. My campaign manager put signs up all over the school. Vote for Daryl Cummings for student council president. And the gossip in school was, who is Daryl Cummings? Who is Daryl Cummings? And so the night before the election, he put in parentheses, Noah, and I won by landslide. So,
oh my gosh!
And I became the first African American president of Roosevelt High School. So, in Cleveland Heights. So
What a wonderful story! I love it.
Yeah, yes. I think that my negative situation ended up working out for my good because it made me, if not famous, infamous. So, but everybody knew. And then when I grew up and got married and had kids, I got laid off from my job, and I was unable to buy my kids food. I was a new father, new husband, had 2 kids at the time. And we are blessed to have 5 now, but we had 2 at the time. And I remember vividly serving my kids boiled water and crackers in it. It was all I could afford. And I tried not to I tried to make it fun for my kids, and I tried to let them think it was a new meal that I created. My wife knew better, but we all ate together those water and crackers. And I said to God, if he ever helped me to be able to help somebody else not go through this, I would do it. And I would make sure that nobody went through what I went through. And God be praised, we've been doing that now for the last 30 years.
Wow, what a beautiful testimony. It's amazing how God takes us full circle. I always say that the experiences that we have today are only to prepare us for what tomorrow holds.
Absolutely.
It's interesting that you told God you would never preach. I can remember my dad telling the story of graduating from high school, and he didn't have a great home life, and he got down on his knees. It was brought up in the church, but he got down on his knees and he said, God, just tell me where you want me to go. And he said he remembers seeing down a long road a church with a white church with a steeple. And he said, no way, I am not going down that path. And he joined the Marine Corps.
Wow.
And it was many years later, and 4 kids later, that God actually got a hold of him again and said, hey, it's time. And again, he said no. When he retired from the military, and I'm going to say that was 1974, maybe 75. And he went to work at the Cardinal plant here in Brillion, Ohio. He again had the call on his heart. He had been saved when we lived in Virginia by a blessed sister that lived across the yard from us. And he went into the ministry. We moved. We picked up and moved to North Carolina, and he went to Fruitland Baptist Bible Institute. Don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it's just a small. Well, it was just a small school back then. I was a junior in high school, and it was hard to move when you're a junior in high school, leaving all your friends.
Right.
But my daddy, that calling was on his heart. Years later, after being in the ministry for many years, he was at a church on the coast of North Carolina, and he was called to come and preach at another church in a place called Haw Bluff. And as he drove down the road to the church, it was the church from the vision when he was 18 years old in his mama's front yard.
Wow.
And he said, right then and there, that he would go home from that church.
Wow.
That's the church that my mom and dad attend when daddy's not filling a pulpit. That is the church that they belong to. And he retired from that church. But of course, ministers never retire. They just go out to pastor.
That's beautiful. What a testimony. That's beautiful. Yeah.
I've never met a minister who doesn't have such a wonderful backstory of how God really brings you full circle. He just does. He just does.
God definitely knows what he's doing, and he's been God for a long time. But I grew up in the church. I say at the church sometimes. I haven't always been saved, but I have been in the building. And when I grew up, I don't know if you had that. We had a big drug problem. I was drugged to Sunday morning, drugged to Sunday night, drugged to Bible class, drugged to prayer, drugged to every choir practice, women's meeting. I was drugged there all the time, and but it did get a hold of me, and I'm honored to be in the service of the King.
That's fabulous. So we're getting close to time to end our time together. And I just wonder, is there anything that we've left unsaid, Pastor Cummings? Is there anything else you'd like to share with the people? How can people support your ministry and what you're doing in Wheeling? How do people get a hold of you to support your ministry?
Well, number one, I need a lot of prayer. I need a lot of prayer. And so if you would call my name out, call the church's name out, the ministry's name out, the North Wheeling Youth Center's name out. We're juggling a lot of things, and sometimes we're always on the verge of losing it all. But God has made a way consistently, and I believe he will continue to make a way. But if God should lay it on your heart to support us, we would be grateful, very grateful, and it would be definitely needed and appreciated. The old-fashioned way still works, and that is that if you would like, you could send an offering, whatever amount, no matter how small or large, would be appreciated, to Bethlehem Temple, Post Office Box 6051, Wheeling, West Virginia 26003. That's Bethlehem Temple, Post Office Box 6051, Wheeling, West Virginia 26003. And if you have a prayer request that you want us to pray along with you, why don't you include that prayer request as well? Or we have a number of ways now that somebody could give. You can go to our Bethlehem Apostolic Temple.org website, and there's a PayPal apparatus there for you to give through PayPal. Or you can go to our Greater Love Ministry app, or Greater Love Ministry, Greater Love International, WV.org, and you could also give that way. For those of you who use Giveify, both Bethlehem Temple and Shiloh are on Giveify. If you wanted to text your offering, you just want to text it, just put the numbers in and put the amount. There is a text number. I got to get it for you, though. And it is 304-451-9900. And just text the word give, and then put the amount that you want. There's even, for our young people, Cash App. You can use Cash App, which is $ DWC Ministries, and on all these things, say what you're giving to, whether it's just a general offering, or if you're giving to our adopted student, or Thanksgiving, Christmas, or Easter, or to the North Wheeling Youth Center, however you want to give, and we'll make sure that it goes to that. And if nothing else, if you want to just call the church, and you call the church at 304-233-8899, and if leave a message and you want to give through your credit card or debit card, if we don't answer, we will call you back, and we will do it over the phone for you, so that you can give whatever amount that you would like. So, but most of all, pray for us. Prayer is what we're dependent on. We're definitely dependent on God. And if God doesn't help us, we're not going to make it. But with God's help, we believe we're going to come through all things. Romans 8:28 says, us working together for our good to those that love God and are the called according to his purpose. We definitely love him, and we think we're here on purpose.
Well, I don't know about those watching, Reverend Cummings, but I always just soak it up when I'm in your presence, and I know that you are a man of God. And I miss our time together. I'm so glad that we got to spend some time together this evening, and I look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon. That would be a blessing.
Thank you so very much. The only thing that we're missing is you singing. We want to hear you sing. But other than that, it was wonderful. Thank you so very much. And I hope one day you might consider come singing at one of our ministries. We would love to have you.
I would love to share the gifts that God has given me with your family there. Absolutely. You just tell me when, and I'll show.
All right. We're gonna hold you to it. We're gonna hold you to it.
All right, you better. All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Cummings.
Thank you so much,
and
Pastor
God bless you.
Cummings,
And
God bless
we'll
you.
be in touch.
And we'll be in touch. And
well, again, I would like to say thank you to Dr. Cummings for joining me this evening and Monday evening for the recorded video. I hope you were blessed by that as much as I was. He truly is an inspiration to me, and definitely a bright spot here in the Ohio Valley. So before we say goodnight, I would like to give you an idea of what's coming up next over the next couple of weeks right here on Bright Spots. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And again, thank you, Dr. Cummings, for joining us and giving us those words. And I hope that you all could see the light. And again, I just want to remind you, if you'd like to help Dr. Cummings' ministry there in Wheeling, these are the ways that you can give. Feel free to make a donation in any amount. Dr. Cummings did say that there is no amount that is too small or too large for that matter. So please be sure and support his ministry. The things that they're doing now, 30 years they've been doing these ministries in Wheeling, and it truly is a mainstay. So for Bright Spots, I'm Laurie Labishak, and I thank you again for tuning in. And remember to shine your light everywhere you go this week. I'll see you again next week on Bright Spots.